everyone, Isela here with the Truck Boss Show. We are here with our great friend Andrea. Andrea is the Director of Communications with Trucker Nation. Andrea, thank you for being with us today.
Absolutely.
We always love having you on the show. Always a lot of knowledge that we get from you. We love the fact that you are so involved in the industry. But we're going to get down to business. So, of
Sure.
course, we have a big topic that we're going to be talking about, and it is something that I know myself, and I know you know because you've been in the industry for a long time. Now, the FMCSA is asking truckers how much of their time is being wasted loading and unloading. Now, I know that the FMCSA right now, they are needing more information on trucker detention. Um, the trucker detention time, whenever it comes to the shippers and the receivers, in order for them to understand those delays that impact highway safety. Now, as of June 10th, the FMCSA started receiving comments from the public on the topic of trucker detention. Now, that is only going to last for about 90 days, but they're asking for seven main questions. And Andrea, can you share more of what the FMCSA is looking for?
Right. So this is a topic that, my goodness, even prior to the ELD issue, even prior to hours of service, we heard drivers talking about detention time nearly daily. There are forums online specifically dedicated just to talking about driver detention. There are groups of people that get together just to talk about driver detention. So this is an issue that is long and old as
Yes.
time. However, with the implementation of the ELD mandate and the exploitation, which I like to say, of hours of service as a result of the ELD mandate, there has been an uptick in driver detention issues, getting paid for that time, questioning whether that time needs to be paid or refunded to the carrier and or the driver. And there's been some labor law issues in regard to detention time and ensuring that drivers are being paid for the time that they're sitting and waiting to be loaded and unloaded. The interesting part about this particular docket that is open is it is non-rulemaking. It is literally just FMCSA saying, hey, tell us what you know. They know they're not truck drivers. They know they're not the ones sitting at docks every day. They know that they're not dock workers.
Right.
So they just want to know more information. And what an awesome opportunity for the trucking industry just to give their feedback. Now, there are some very specific questions. They are asking 7 very specific questions. And I'll get to a tool that's out there that could help some drivers if they're interested in answering some of these very specific questions. But the beautiful part of this particular docket is it's just opening up the conversation. Again, we all know that with hours of service being exploited by the ELD mandate, that detention has never been as big an issue as it is now. And everyone's going to have to adjust a little bit as a result. Drivers are going to have to adjust, shippers, receivers, carriers, everyone's going to have to adjust in this new landscape that we're all living. But there can't be any assistance from the regulators if they don't know what's going on. So this isn't a bad thing. This isn't additional regulations being thrown down anyone's throat or any rights or liberties or anything being taken away. This is literally just an opportunity to weigh in. This is just the opportunity to have a two-way conversation with the federal regulators, which might in turn turn into something that could help drivers in the long run.
I agree with you, Andrea. I think it's very important for our drivers to speak up. I know a lot of the times they are looking for that opportunity, and here it is. It is presented to them. If they're not voicing that, then it's never going to be heard. Now, you did mention the 7 questions, and I'm going to mention the top 3, which is, are data currently available that can accurately record loading and unloading and delay times? Is there technology available that could record and delineate prompt loading and unloading times versus the extended delays sometimes experienced by drivers? And lastly is, how can delay times be captured and recorded in a systematic, comparable manner? Now,
Absolutely.
as we all know, you're heavily involved in the trucking industry, especially through your family. Now, has this topic impacted your business?
Absolutely, 100%. Now, our business is 100% agriculturally based. So, on the livestock side, I can't say that we've been impacted at all. Detention time isn't a thing in the livestock world. But when we're hauling agricultural commodities to fresh produce or things of that nature, 100% we have been impacted. It is not unheard of for one of our trucks to sit for 6 hours. It is not unheard of for one of our trucks to sit 6 or 7 hours on either end, whether it be loading or unloading. Additionally, we have since the hard enforcement date of the ELD mandate, we have seen shippers and receivers start to shift their policies a little bit. We do have one shipper or receiver. Actually, I believe it's a receiver. You can cut that part out. But anyway, we do have one receiver that has, in the past, I believe it has been 4 months, have instituted a new policy that if the receipt that they give the driver at the dock is not given back to the carrier, in our case, it's just us, but then referenced back to that company, and the detention time isn't requested within a 12-hour period, then you completely lose the opportunity to recoup that money. So this is a new policy for this particular company that we hadn't seen in the past. Now, we've seen it at other places, but this particular company was always pretty liberal with paying detention time if you requested it. Now they're putting such a time limitation that it's almost like they're counting on the driver not getting the receipt back to the carrier, having all the paperwork processed, and then the detention time requested by the carrier back to the company. So potentially they wouldn't have to pay the detention time. So we've seen some shifts, and it's interesting that FMCSA is having this conversation or wanting to have this conversation with drivers. And we're seeing some shifts with some companies. So the time is now. The time is now to have a conversation. And having a conversation with federal regulators is an incredibly powerful thing. It's an incredibly rewarding experience to see your hard work pay off. And every driver, every person in a seat that has to wait at a dock has an experience that's worth something. It's worth going and having your experiences be heard and putting them in a place where it might move the regulatory dial.
Right, you're very correct on that, Andrea. Just reminding our audience, it is very important for them to speak out now, and just don't wait for this to be, oh, the time already came to an end. You can't speak your mind anymore. It's very important for them to do it, now. Now, where can
Right.
they go to comment, and how much longer do they have?
So currently, there are, and this should make every driver out there just a little bit angry. Currently, there are only 344 comments on this comment period, which is dismal at best. So drivers have until September 9th to make comments on this particular docket. But I wouldn't delay, because every driver out there has had these types of experiences. They know some of the worst. You could ask
Yeah.
any driver, what's
Yes.
the worst detention time? What's the worst experience you've ever had? And they will not hesitate in telling you what that experience is. So if drivers go to www.regulations.gov, they can type in FMCSA-2019-0054. It will bring up the docket, and drivers can make a comment today. They can answer any one of those 7 questions that are in the docket, or they can just provide their experiences. Again, this is just an opportunity to have a conversation. Trucker Nation has created the only how-to guide that is specifically tailored to any docket that FMCSA has out that open for public comment. So if any of the drivers wanted to go out to www.truckernation.org and click on the Comment Now button, there is a complete guide that will walk them through step by step how to make a comment, what each one of those 7 questions are, and it has the links to regulations.gov where they can go make a comment today.
Andrea, that's pretty awesome that Trucker Nation is doing that as well. Sometimes there are some of our drivers that might have questions and say, well, I don't know how to, do it on the FMCSA, but when you're there to help, that's pretty awesome. So,
Yeah.
high five to you, Andrea and Trucker Nation, because that's pretty awesome. And now, just reminding our viewers out there, do it now. This is your chance to go ahead and speak out. And I agree with you, Andrea. In the years that I've been in the industry, I've had a lot of drivers who are very quick to express what their experience is at a detention time. I used to have to be on phone calls with our drivers, and I would listen to that all the time. So I know it's very important. And with the number of comments that there is right now, I'm hoping that a lot more get involved and go ahead and just start, letting it be known.
Yep.
Tell them what you feel, what you think, what it's been like for you, and
Mhm.
so that's going to help in the future. And that's what I'm pretty sure that's what they're looking for.
Absolutely. If we see this turn into some sort of rulemaking in the future, that's a positive thing. So right now, it's very safe. It's a very safe environment just to have a conversation with the federal regulators. And as cheesy as it may sound, don't delay, comment today.
That's right. Hey, that's a good one though. It's catchy. Well,
Yeah.
Andrea, we, like I said before, love having you on the show, and we really do appreciate all the info that you always have for us, and hoping that this is benefiting all our drivers out there, and because without them, we would have nothing. So, Andrea,
That's
thank you
right.
so much.
Absolutely. Thanks,
All right.
Isela.
And this is it for the Truck Boss Show. See you on the next segment.